What's going on, everybody? This is Dave from This Is Pop Punk Promotions. I'm here with Protect Your Heart from Los Angeles, California. How's it going, boys?
Hey man.
What's
Hey, let's
up,
go.
Dave?
Really
Hello there.
appreciate you guys coming on. Let's dive right into it. So, when and how did you guys form?
Oh God.
Woo.
Uh this is so there's basically been two iterations. Jake, Ant, and I started writing stuff in 2018, and after like every weekend for 2 years, Jake kind of was like, if we're gonna keep doing this, we need to find a singer. Otherwise, this is a big giant waste of time because we had a Dropbox full of probably like at that point like 50-ish demos. And so we went on this like long hunt, uh, for someone to sing. And at that point in time, I was working on a remix of a song called Fireproof by EDM artist High Society, whose name you might recognize from our discography at this point. And Matt sang on that song. And so I had the stems and I had his vocals. And I just reached out to James and was like, hey, man, we've been doing this band thing. We're trying to find a singer. Can you put me in contact with Matt? And so did I send you a email or a Facebook message? I don't remember at this point. Either way, I sent him a message. I told him what we were up to. I sent him the demos and then didn't hear back from him like at all for 2 weeks. And so then I definitely sent him a Facebook message like, hey man, I sent you an email. Can you check it out, please? And he got back to me like almost immediately. And turns out he was out of the country on a trip in Haiti. And I was like, cool, let's just get on a call. It'll be way faster to talk about it that way. And so we chatted for like what was it, like 2 hours or something. It was a long conversation because we were essentially just finishing each other's sentences with like what we liked and what we didn't like and what we were trying to do and all this sort of stuff. And I think the very next weekend we were sitting in Ant's room, all the four of us, and like going over like top lines and things for some of the demos that Matt liked. And it just kind of like snowballed from there. And then what was it? A couple weeks after that was COVID lockdown, like the first week of COVID lockdown. And
Hey,
so
Lisa.
essentially, that entire first record that we did was done just like this. Like we have a Discord channel, and we would work over Discord and figure things out, and then that would be it. We'd work on one song at a time. We'd come have Matt come to Ant's place to record vocals, and we'd take like a day off of work and do like 2 or 3 days of just vocal recording, and then everyone goes off on their way. And that's kind of how we finished the first record. And in that process, we did some music videos. And the first music video we did was for Don't Count Me Out. And you'll notice if you watch it back that there's no drummer involved. And so we kind of chatted amongst ourselves after doing that. And we're like, this might look weird. We should consider finding someone to play drums, especially if we're going to try and play shows. And we basically performed the same routine again in search of a drummer. And Matt, I think, had met Mauricio previously in different bands. And so we had Mauricio come out and play drums in a couple of our music videos. And then it basically just was like, after a certain point, it's like, you're just in this band now, was the simplest way to put it. And so once we finished up the first record, Reintroduction, because we'd already written all the songs and stuff, then we sort of like had Mauricio like really get involved in the writing of all these new songs. We did our little tour thing, all of our live shows, like everything since then. So basically, it was like the first record was kind of like the four of our sort of entity as Protect Your Heart, and then as soon as we like wrapped that up, then it's been this way ever since. So that's a long-winded story, but that's kind of like the iterations of how we've landed where we are.
So
Boom.
sick. There's no way in hell that I would have been able to do all that during COVID. I would have been like, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm done. I'm just gonna like go do something else. So you guys got my respect.
It gave us something to do. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, I think everyone dealt with COVID differently in this band and just generally like in the world. For me, I quite preferred COVID because I didn't have to commute. I got to sit in front of the computer all day, and when I had downtime, I just worked on stuff for the band. I know everyone else sitting here has a very different recollection of that period of time, but I think had we not been put in that position, like I don't even know if this would really exist because we probably would have been so busy that no one would have actually like focused on it. You know what I mean? So it was a blessing and a curse. I think it made everyone lose their mind a little bit. But I also think it gave us the opportunity to like actually focus on finishing any of what we had, basically been tinkering on for like 2 years.
One
Yeah, we
sometimes
spent
it's helpful if you want to get some good lyrics out. So it
Yeah.
works in our favor in that
yeah,
direction.
and we spent a lot of time reworking some of the demos. Like, Maddie would go and he'd find something and be like, "Wait, this is awesome. We need to do this." And it was, maybe a minute and a half idea, but then we would like rework it, re-record guitars, try different things, and it like in a sense it gave us an opportunity to experiment with us figuring out how we were going to do this to make it what it is before releasing it all.
I think that's a good point. It's important to know that like Jake, Anthony, and myself all came out of dance music. Like we were doing dubstep and drum and bass and trap and electro house like basically up until 2020, when we decided that this was gonna basically take priority over that. Um, and so a lot of reintroduction is just R&D. Like I distinctly remember those first 2 years of working on those songs. Like we'd come over to Jake's place and no real goal in mind other than like, let's figure out how to like get these drums to sound good. Let's figure out how to record these guitars in a way that sounds good. Let's figure out what tones we're going to use, right? Like it was a lot of just like noodling on the production of this because it was so, we all grew up in bands, but when we grew up in bands, you were recording to like, an 8 track basically in a basement. We didn't have any of the stuff that we have now. So it was basically like a complete rediscovery of how to write this type of music, how to record this type of music, how to do anything. And so I think you'll kind of hear that a lot if you go back and listen to those songs and then you listen to the new songs. You'll kind of realize what we realize, which is like there are certain things that we really like and like gravitate towards musically, and those sort of motifs and ideas show up a lot more in these new like songs for this next album. And a lot of that was just a result of us like experimenting.
So sick. I'm feeling very motivated and inspired right now.
Well, yeah.
It won't last
Love
long.
So you guys released Fever Dream and Talk in July. How's the response been to that?
I think it's been good overall. I mean, I think it's to me, those songs are experiments again. Like, I don't think they really sound like anything else that we've put out. I think like when I hear Fever Dream, I hear like like bits of like country and stuff. I don't know if everyone else does, but like that has always sort of been there. Um, and with Talk, I think that like that sort of a Jake can take most of the credit for that one, where it was just like let's try and like I mean, the original demo of that was in some like weird time signature and like everything was complicated. And then I came in and was like, let's not make it that complicated because people need to be able to follow it. And we sort of landed somewhere in the middle. And I think that they just sound distinctly different from each other, but also distinctly different from everything else that's been released prior to it. And that's sort of that methodology, that ideology is sort of why we're even naming the album what we're naming it, which is Gradients, which is basically a lightness and a darkness and a contrast between different like shades of like who we are, what we sound like, what we like to sound like, all that sort of stuff. So it's like, you have the classic like easy chord protect your heart stuff. And then you have these like weird ones and everything in between. And so hopefully, our goal with everything that we're doing is to not repeat ourselves too much. But hopefully this is like an evolution on the first record as well in the same sort of way.
Yeah, most people that I've shown Fever Dream to have also been like, "Oh, this song's rather different to previous singles that you guys have been putting out, and like yeah, either like people have been loving it, and then like just the 1-2 punch of Fever Dream along with Talk, they're like yeah, these go like great together. And as Maddie said, like they're two sides of the coin, right? So yeah, reception of those songs have been really great as well too. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah.
And Talk
So
has a
those,
guitar
oh,
solo.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's like one of the only songs where we actually have a guitar solo, which I love. So
And fun fact about that guitar solo, the day that we recorded guitars for that song, Jake came over to the studio very late with food poisoning and recorded that song laying on his back, or recorded that solo laying on his back. And so there's video of that happening on our Instagram, where we kind of like did like a carousel of like the making of both like the song and the music video, and you'll see a couple photos of Jake on that carpet next to Ant, with me standing over top of him.
it was a struggle, but we got it done.
Devastating.
Yeah, devastating guitar solos.
One per album.
Yeah,
Pretty pop punk of you guys.
something like that.
So for these songs, who did you record them with, and how was the process?
We do everything ourselves. Like literally everything.
Beginning to end, it's all us. It's awesome.
Yeah, most of it starts either, I'd say almost 99% for this record at Kian's place. Kian and Jake just sitting down and coming up with ideas. There was like we sat, I don't know, it was like New Year's last year, and just like every day put out a bunch of different ideas. That was before, right? That was a year ago. Yeah,
That was
Jake,
the
I
end
don't
of
know.
last year, yeah.
I think it was last
you lose
year.
time, right?
That was last year for sure when we were all
Last-
at Anthony's
last
place.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Yeah. So it all starts there, and then it's just a matter of like working through them, just one by one. You're
Yeah,
okay,
like
are we going to do this?
after this today, like what's going to happen with the rest of our Saturday is Jake's going to come over here and we're going to try and either improve existing demos or start some new ones. And Ant's going to be working on the next mix and masters of the next singles. And that's just kind of the way things go. And then when Jake and I feel like we've got guitar parts that are cool, we'll send that off to everybody else, and then Mauricio will track his parts on top of it. We've figured out this whole new process of doing that, which has been super sick. And then once everyone, is happy with that, then we bring it over to Ants, and Ant engineers everything and adds his bits and plays his parts, and we record it all over there. And then once we have that done, he bounces out a version, and Matty goes and does his thing. Matt's got like his own vocal booth, like probably next to him if I had to guess, where he records all of his parts and then sends them back to Ant, and then Ant does all the processing and then the final mixes and masters. And then once we're in that final sort of process, generally I will start saying, hey guys, we need to make some sort of video for this. What do we want to do? Do we want to do a full on like music video, or do we want to do like a lyric video or whatever? And then we'll figure that out. And then we will generally bring a couple other friends into the fold and go shoot our own music videos. I'll edit them for the most part. And then the whole process is done with these folks right here. And then a couple others that have worked with us on the like content side, like the video production side, for a long time. And we've just been fortunate enough to like, one, we all know how to do this stuff and enjoy doing it. But we've also like been able to add people to our little like family that we've built, that are like, hey, when are you guys doing the next thing? And we'll get together and we'll just try and make it fun and try and make something cool. And, the goal is like whatever we make is good enough that people feel proud of it to like make it worth their time and their effort. And then, it's another like cool thing to add to your portfolio, whether you're a musician or a vocalist or a cinematographer or a video editor or whatever. The whole goal is we've always had this saying in this band, like, make cool shit with cool people. And that's just what we're trying to do regardless of the medium. So everything is just coming from that same like DIY sort of place.
Well, you guys are absolutely nailing that. So
Lots
Appreciate
of
that. Hell
practice.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
keep up the great work. And you guys are jack of all trade. You can do like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we are fortunate enough to like everyone has a role to play in this band and everyone plays their role uh in a I would argue particularly, good fashion. Like, it makes it so easy that we don't really need to rely on anyone else, and that when we do bring other people into the process, it's because we want to and they want to, and they have an equal sort of mindset about it. I can't really imagine us pursuing this for this long in this way if we had to have other people get involved. I don't think it would work. Just because like Jake pays his bills like being a producer. Ant does this for like real artists and has for God, however many years at this point. Everyone here has been working in whatever field we're in for a very long time, so we don't really need any outside help. And if we want it, we'll go find it. But that's kind of, yeah, the way that we've always looked at this project.
I think the coolest part about the work that we do too is that like whether it's just the five of us or the other friends that we constantly bring along when we do like music video shoots or anything like that, like the best part is that like every time it just feels like we're hanging out all day with our friends, like it's never like doesn't feel like work. So like definitely drives everything forward and like super helpful in.
Yeah.
A label would be sick though if they did want to consider us. That would facilitate like more shows and more exposure and stuff. But yeah, it's all super DIY, which is satisfying when we actually release stuff and it does well.
It's
Keep-
it's
I'm
our
sorry,
get
go ahead.
it's our get rich slow scheme, so we have to make it fun
Yeah.
while we do.
Yeah, we're not making any money at it, so if it weren't fun, then it wouldn't exist. I think is
And that's kind of like when I joined the band, I was just kind of strict about what my intentions were. And my intentions were, I don't want this to turn out to be some stressful project where we're trying to reach for something that's, largely unattainable, or that we should focus on what we can control. And that's, as Kian said, doing cool shit with cool people and having a great time doing it. That was my only goal for joining this band, was just to have a great time writing songs that I've wanted to write my whole life and never did.
Yeah, I think that's a really important facet of this band too, is like, I don't want to speak for everyone, but at least for myself, like I learned how to play music and write music in garages in punk rock. Like that's what got me into everything that I'm into just in my life, like even to the point of my like career. Um, and so what protects your heart and why I have so much, memorabilia surrounding me and things like that already is just because it is a passion project to the point of like I never got to make the type of, music that I really, really like wanted to make until this existed. And now it's, I get to be in the band that I wanted to be in when I was probably, younger and more viable in this thing. But I never got to make these types of songs before at this level of quality and have this much, creative input on the whole project itself. And so that to me is to Jake's point, like really satisfying, just to do it, but then also to like for anybody to care about it and like, meeting people like you and anybody that like comes to our shows and stuff. The fact that anyone shows up at all is pretty wild.
It's absolutely incredible. Like respect to you guys, and that's what I tell people all the time. It's like if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying it, then you're wasting your time, and you should probably do something else.
100%. Yeah.
So you guys are from Los Angeles. How's the pop punk scene there? Do you guys have a favorite band, favorite local venue?
It's
Um,
Los Angeles, so it's like a mixed bag, I feel. The scene's pretty good, but it's very Hollywood at the same time. But yeah, we've played quite a few venues around here and they're all super sick. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys
We'd probably call Viper our home venue just because that's the one where we get the most offers and we always seem to do quite well there. But the sound is great. The team is great there. We've never had anything less than a great experience.
Yeah, the last show we played was at House of Blues in Anaheim with Driveways and Good Terms, who I would say like if we have you know, favorites or friends here, it's probably Good Terms just because we've played with them so many times to the point where it's like, hey guys, what's up? We're not having to like introduce ourselves over and over again. So that is probably yeah how I would answer that. But our next sort of goal is the Troubadour, because we've sold out the Viper Room a couple times, and it's a 250 cap room. So when it's full, it feels crazy. But the Troubadour is twice as large. So if we can make that room feel even like 75% full, I think that would be like a next step up, and just a sign of like some semblance of growth for us as well. But to Matt's point, we've played Viper Room 3 or 4 times. Um, as like some version of a headliner each time, and sold it out a couple times, and every time we played there it's been really fun, and we've been treated really well. They love us over there, so we like going over there.
It's very
Yeah.
important. You don't want to go to a venue where it's like they don't care and they treat you like crap.
We've done those. We prefer not to do those anymore.
But even in
It's
the
great.
shitbox, we still have a blast. We're surrounded by awesome people. So how can you not turn anything that sucks into something awesome? There's always a way.
Yeah. And LA's like the music hub at the end of the day. It's incredible to live here and work here and stuff. I mean, the only other one would be like Nashville, and we're not very yeehaw.
I would say that I would say
They
that that's
prefer
kind of like the most interesting thing about the LA scene, is just because LA is so large and there are so many scenes, that when you think of the LA scene, like you probably think it's something like really vast and like, robust, and it isn't. Um, it's not, I wouldn't argue that it's any bigger than any other scene anywhere else, because there are so many different scenes happening here that like, it's just like anything these days. People's attention spans are split, into smaller, more niche things, and so audiences just inherently get smaller. So like we'll see the same people out at shows and stuff, but it's not like these shows are like, typically like line around the block, like you can't get in, like things like that. So I would say it's like healthy. There's definitely like, I can't recall really playing in the radius of LA to like an empty room. But it's also at the same time like it's not the early 2000s, so it's not the big fish in the
You got
sea.
to get the old millennials out of houses and like use their kids. If
Yeah.
That's the goal.
you do that, you're doing something right, you know?
Screw the little kids. It's all about the people that are 30 and above. That's where
Yeah.
it's at. We know how to party. We're the party animals.
The people that have money to spend on a t-shirt.
Exactly. So who would you say your biggest influences are?
Well, for me, Metallica, so I love the Ride the Lightning behind you.
Did you hang that poster yet? Where is it? I don't see it.
No, I haven't hung anything in my apartment
Oh,
yet.
dude, come on.
Failure.
Look at this bare wall behind me.
You kind of look
Jake's
like
really
you're in
bad
a
at
jail cell.
decorating. Jake's really bad at decorating or like making his place homey. He just exists and lives. So we all bought him for his birthday this really awesome Metallica piece.
It'll go maybe. I don't. Well, I might move in like 5 months, so why put stuff up? You know,
Is it just like decorating your couch right now? It's just sitting there.
chilling, bro.
You're always almost moving.
He actually just carries it around. So anywhere he goes is kind of nicely decorated.
Yeah, Metallica for me though. I love Papa Het, and yeah, the first like 5 albums of Metallica are like masterpieces to me.
He's a huge Lars fan as well.
I actually like Lars. You know, I actually like his drumming on the first 5 albums. I know it's like really, really popular to hate on him, but I kind of like Lars. I kind of like how he's an asshole and a dickhead. It's kind of dope.
Jake's the resident edge lord. Um, I I think I mean I'll speak for myself. It's no secret that like Blink is number one for me, but you know, I can't recall like the last time I listened to like old Blink or anything like that. Like I feel like most of us are constantly listening and sharing like new stuff, especially from like smaller bands. So like Mauricio's been giving me a hard time because I keep sharing this band called Midfield. I'm
Rightfully so, though, because I am
yeah.
also just equally obsessed.
Yeah,
They're so good.
Yeah.
there's so many like really good bands in our scene, you know, right now, that like, you know, have relatively small audiences. Like they're one of them. Rematch is really good. I'm really like stoked on the new re-record of Never Take Friendship Personal with Maddie Mullins.
Very good.
Um,
Production's fantastic.
yeah, the like, but like outside of Scene Landia, you know, I also listen to quite a lot of like drum and bass and things like that, which, you know, Ant and Jake and I all really get into that stuff with our, you know, production background. So I the influences in this band run far and wide, from like pop music to, you know, cacophonous noise like death metal stuff and everything in between.
I grew up listening to all the powerhouse vocalists, and so that, of course, like I wanted to be as inspired by that as possible and have that come through. Like I grew up listening to like Freddie Mercury a lot, like Whitney Houston, like Celine Dion. Like I love like the like Journey. Like I love huge like Led Zeppelin, big, powerful, like soaring vocals. So I've always kind of had that part of my writing style. But I also love the storytelling of, I don't listen to a lot of country, but I love country singers and I love the storytelling and the lyricism there and how palatable it is on first listen. Like I love the idea of getting someone to feel something on the first time they've heard a chorus. And so I always kind of think about those things, but definitely all those big soaring vocalists from the earlier days, they're always going to be at the top of my playlist.
Palatable is a relative term, buddy.
Hey,
So yeah.
I'm the one, I guess, who's still stuck in the past, but also like I love great songwriting, but I love great production. So I go back and I do listen a lot to things that are recorded and produced okay, like well, produced well is like, you know, old Social D, but I listen to a lot of Rancid. I listen to a lot of the old I listen to all the Sum 40 Run records pretty regularly. I do listen to all the Blink stuff pretty regularly. Um, but even like the new Rancid stuff that is all recorded and produced really well, but feels really tough, but is all really good written songs. Um, but also Kian mentioned the drum and bass stuff. I was telling Mauricio earlier today. It's like the new Pendulum album. Like it's amazing. It's like they're kind of the I'll say metal version of us. Like they're heavily programmed, influenced, like perfection, but with great songwriting, great catchy melodies. But it's still like something that you can put on the dance floor. It's pretty cool. So yeah, most of my influences come from all across the board, just because of like how much I'm into production and like the process of like what did they do to record this thing? Why does it sound this way? Why? Who mixed it? Who mastered it? What was the process there? So, well, yeah, Kian said that Amberlin record is really good. I never really listened to the original one, and then he was like, "Oh, you got to listen to this." And yeah, that one definitely has been on loop for a while since it came out.
Yeah, that band is super duper underrated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
1000%, a bunch of amazing bands and artists there. So now I'm going to ask you guys a few non-music questions. A good way for me to get to know you as people. This with the other bands. You ready to roll?
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, first one. Favorite season.
We don't
We're in
get
LA, so I feel like this
Fall.
it's like hot or extra hot.
Fall.
72 and
October.
sunny.
I'm
Oh yeah, I
oddly
like
gonna
fall.
say when it's like raining season. There's something about me being able to like come back here and just play drums while I know it's raining outside. It's really weird because it's not like I can see it or anything, but it's just so. Whenever it's raining, I'm gonna call raining season. It's very soothing.
I'm 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 like I'm a bitch about it all. I love it when it's perfect, but sweater weather, like fall, October, is kind of my favorite. Like, I love a good jacket.
I'm originally from the Midwest, so anything that's even like below 70, I don't want anything to do with anymore. So like 70 to like 80 degrees and sunny is where I want it to be. Which fortunately that's what we have here. That's what we pay the California premium for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sticking with summer for the same reasons. Everyone wants to be social more often than not during summer, so twisting people's arm to go and make something fun happen or go on a short weekend getaway or a road trip or something. No one's wanting to do that when it's rainy season. So I kind of like need that to refuel me, and then when it's rainy season, I get all my good lyrics out.
Here we go.
Yeah, Maddie's super social. I like fall until daylight savings, and then I don't like fall anymore.
That's a
Ooh,
good answer.
yeah.
I'd say runner-up favorite time of year is right around when Coachella is. I always feel like it's the nicest weather. So it's like mid-April in California. For some reason, like you're coming out of winter and it's just like you can go outside and you're like, oh, it just actually feels really nice. The sun starts feeling warm. I'd say that's a runner-up. Whatever that is. Spring. Part of spring, sort of spring.
It's
What about
awesome.
you?
Yeah.
It's tough because it's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with fall and summer. Summer because of the beach, and I get to go to the beach and swim in the ocean and the boardwalk and cotton candy and all that, and Hawaiian shirts and pop punk. But I'm really getting into fall because of hoodies and beanies and football and pumpkin spice. I'm a teenage white girl. I'll admit it.
Let's go.
I embrace it. Pumpkin spice and apple cider and Halloween and haunted houses and all that. So I would say it's a tie between summer and fall.
Like
Nice.
at home.
Great answer.
Incredibly
Um,
based.
All right, so last question. What are some places in Los Angeles that visitors should check out?
Ooh.
Damn, I was
I
just in
don't
feel
even
like
Echo Park.
that's
Yes.
such a hard question to answer. Like everyone's like, "You've lived here your whole life. Why don't you know?" And I'm like, that's so strange. I've never really thought about it.
The traffic. You gotta
Genghis
brave the
Cohen
traffic.
until it's closed, but apparently they may move. They may be moving. I don't know. It's really good Chinese food. I would send somebody there on Fairfax.
I would
I
I would
feel like we
co-sign
would all
that.
send people to food places.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
food
have a
just makes
curveball.
everyone happy.
I'd say go to Echo Park, like the actual park in that area. I think that area is so cool. It's hard to get to. You have to sit in traffic to get there if you're not from here. But it's just such a sick park, and you have like a view of like the skyline, and it's like
I
super hipster. You could spend $15 on a matcha latte.
I would tell somebody to go to the Comedy Store. I think all of us are big comedy fans and have gone to the Comedy Store like a lot. And I just feel like that is a uniquely Los Angeles experience, where you're not going to be surrounded by tourists. You're not going to break the bank. And you're going to definitely have a good time. And it's just chill and easy and fun. And you get to see like the world's best current comedians like figuring out new bits. And then 6 months later you'll see it in their Netflix special. So it's just like it's a kind of cool thing to do here. And there's a bunch of comedy clubs and stuff like the Laugh Factory and the Improv and all that stuff. But I would say that the Comedy Store is the best of the bunch, in my opinion.
It's awesome. I'll have to hit up all those places when I get out there. But I really appreciate you guys coming on, and the support means the world to me. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude. When
thanks
you,
for having us.
Your
Thank you for having
support.
us. It's awesome.
That's
Dave,
up.
wait. Your support means
Yeah.
the world to us.
Yeah, it does.
Hell yeah.
honestly.
Anytime, I live to serve and serve to live.
Hell yeah, brother.
I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.
Thank you. See you,
Yeah.
brother.
Thanks, dude.
Have a good night.